The meeting will now come to order. Welcome to the January 22nd, 2024 City of Asheville Board of Adjustment meeting. My name is Suzanne Godsey, and I am chair of this board. The Board of Adjustment is a quasi-judicial body that is governed by the North Carolina General Statutes and the city's Unified Development Ordinance. We are authorized to hear requests for variances from the city's Unified Development Ordinance, also referred to as the UDO, appeals from final determinations by city officials charged with enforcement of the city's UDO, requests for reasonable accommodations, and other requests as may be provided in the city's ordinances. The first item on our agenda today is a review and adoption of the minutes of the November 27th, 2023 regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
For a motion to approve minutes.
Second.
You made the motion, you seconded it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Our second item on the agenda is going to be removed. That was approval of the minutes of the December 18th, 2023 regular meeting, which we have not been able to review, so we'll look at that next month. The third item on our agenda, per Section 2C of the Asheville Board of Adjustment Rules of Procedure, states it is responsibility of the chair to appoint Daniel Fleer as secretary to the board. Eventually, that's going to roll right off of my tongue as we get to know one another. Do I have a motion to appoint Daniel Fleer as secretary to the board?
I motion to appoint Daniel Flair.
A second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Daniel, thank you and welcome. So with that, we'll move on to our first application, and it is a variance. Before we get started, I have a conflict of interest in this specific request. I am currently a landscape architect for the project of record that is coming before you today. So I need someone to make a motion for me to recuse myself.
I motion for you to recuse yourself.
Second.
Great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Great. And I will be turning this over to the capable hands of Vice Chair Smith.
Okay. The petitioner, Jeremy Goldstein, on behalf of the owner, Asheville LLC, is requesting a variance to the sign standards in Section 7-8-29, parentheses, 4.3, F as in Foxtrot, crown sign of the Unified Development Ordinance, otherwise known as UDO. The petitioner is seeking a modification to the design standard requiring a crown sign to be painted directly onto the building wall to allow flush mounting of the painted metal lettering and placement on the south facade sign. The building will be located at 31 Artful Way and identified in Buncombe County tax record as PIN number 9648-07-3584. For further information, please contact Nancy Watford at City of Asheville, P.O. Box 7148, Asheville 28802. Nancy Watford, zoning manager, will be presenting this case this afternoon. Nancy?
Mr. Vice Chair, we do need to swear in everyone first. So do you have the oath in front of you? Okay, we'll get that for you right now.
Okay.
It's just above where you were on the script. Do you just need the oath?
Okay. Okay. Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the evidence you shall give to the board in this section shall be the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Ms. Watford?
Good afternoon, board. See, I'm Nancy Watford in the Planning and Urban Design Department. And I will be presenting to you a sign variance for 31 Artful Way this afternoon. The petitioner, Jeremy Goldstein, agent for Artful Asheville LLC, is requesting a variance from the Crown Sign section of our Unified Development Ordinance in the, what is the River Arts District Form-Based Code. They're seeking a modification from the design standard requiring a crown sign to be painted on the structure, and seeking a modification for a placement of one of the crown signs. The crown signs are supposed to be facing a street facade, and the one to the south is actually not directly facing a street facade. So those are the two requests. This is where the project is located. It's off Haywood Road, Klingman Road, but Klingman Avenue Extension, and then also Artful Way, which is a little road that curves around. This is the aerial of the area. So in RAD, Form-Based Code, a crown sign is to be 4 stories placed on the building facade, at least 4 stories in height. Its maximum square footage is 250 per street-facing facade, and it would, basically they say for it to be painted on the structure, or flush with the structure. And that there's no more than 2 per building, also. So this is the location for a proposed location for the east facade, which does face Klingman Extension. And they're proposing 200 square feet for the sign. And then this one's proposed at 156 square feet, and it's facing the south facade, which, if we look at the aerial, faces to the south, not exactly towards Artful Way, which is kind of hard to see, but there is a road that curves around that blue, with that aqua blue line. This is the proposed sign attachment, which the fiber cement panels over vertical wood be attached to the CMU wall. And then these are the fiber cement panels that are actually what the building facade is currently, I believe. Are there any questions for me?
Questions for me?
I don't know if I can answer them for myself or.
From the board?
Yeah, just to clarify, so instead of painting on the sign, they want to have the hang up with the tiles that you're pointing out.
Yes.
Are they going to be sticking out much further? Because it's,
Not much further. It's what, 2-3 inches?
Do you have the RAD view variance that we submitted, it was approved? It was maybe in your packet.
It's in the package, but no, because it's not. It's 2 or 3 inches. I think that's what you said in the letter.
so that's the first thing. Then the second thing is that it's not exactly facing the road, it's just
Yeah.
facing the stuff.
It's facing,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I'm just clarifying. Thanks.
Any other questions for Ms. Watford?
Yeah, I've got a question. Again, help me understand which direction is it facing? And what's the purpose of it? Is it a commercial purpose or?
Right, so the building has both commercial uses, retail uses, lodging as well, and apartments within it. And so this, I should have brought the plans up. So this is the south-facing side that faces away. I wish I had a pointer.
Was it,
So instead of, it faces more south, which is when you approach that road, you would be able to see the sign on the approach from Artful Way. It's not facing directly Artful Way, which is part of because the road curves around and there is a significant grade change, as you can see from the building structure, there's a significant grade change from, this is the east facade, so from the west to the east. So there's like two parking stories that kind of back up into what's along Artful Way.
Can you go back to the other picture, the overhead? And to the south, where the sign will be facing, it looks like it's that empty lot there.
No.
No,
No.
that's not where it's going to be.
That is no longer an empty lot. That is what the project is called. Woodfield River
Yeah,
Lofts now, I think.
that's what I was asking.
For years.
It was Rad Lofts for a long time.
Is the sign going to be above that visibly? Yeah. I got a nod, yes.
Yes. I'm like, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything
Any other
else?
questions from Ms. Swift? No? Okay. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to give testimony?
Do you want the
Do the applicants have a presentation or additional testimony for the board to consider?
Not so much a presentation, just maybe clear up and add some more context. My name is Laura Hudson. I am architect representing the owner. And this, I think if you've seen in your material that was submitted earlier, this is another very similar variance to the property right to its west. We had a similar condition where we wanted to place a crown sign, and at this time it was corrugated metal siding. And paint is just something that it would not have worked. And so we wanted to install a sign that was still within the intent and the spirit of the ordinance, and so that was approved. And I think there's been some internal discussion. Sometimes the code can be a little bit self-contradictory. It asks for new projects to use a certain kind of building material, and that's part of what we're doing. If you can see from our facade that where we would like to place our signs, it's fiber cement panel with different textures, doesn't take paint. So these are integrally colored. So in one sense, the RAD form code insists that you use innovative materials, but then the sign doesn't really work together. And I think the city recognizes that this might be something that is corrected. I mean, the code can't anticipate all these contradictions. So it's one that we've uncovered. So that's the first variance about how to just apply the sign. The intent is to, as you can see, the rest of we meet all the other criteria for the crown sign. It's just, it's attached, not painted. And then the second, as you're coming up this road and curving around, there's actually a teeny tiny little bridge. They filmed Thunder Road back in the 40s, I believe. Well, that little bridge isn't doing so well, and so it's no longer rated for any kind of heavy traffic. So when we built this, or designed this project, it is under construction, we had to get an easement from the neighbor to the east so that we can direct all the traffic into the ground level from Klingman Extension. So part of where we're putting these signs is when we have visitors coming to the project, because there will be lodging, We're trying to direct them to Klingman Extension and to kind of give them some orientation. That is how you enter the project. So it's not entered, pedestrians can enter from above Artful Way, but all our automobile traffic, we want to come in from down below Klingman Extension. So.
Thank you. Is there any questions from the board?
Yeah, so are you saying basically if you were to try to paint, the paint just wouldn't stick to the material very well?
Correct.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Okay,
How
let's-
is this sign going to be eliminated? I'm sorry.
The ordinance does not allow internally lit signs. So if we're lighting it, it has to be lit from externally, and so we would comply.
And that would exist with or without if it was painted or?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. The idea is in that, I guess, in that district, not to have big lit signs that are internally lit.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public that, outside of the applicant, that wish to present anything to us, to this board? Okay, well, I'll open it up for discussion. The board? Any other questions?
So I'll mention that there's two things that we're looking at, as we all know. I'm not exactly sure of what I don't want to say issue, but we're supposed to look at this from the aspect that there's unnecessary hardship, and I'm not sure the unnecessary hardship that has to do with the size. I can understand the painted. Am I wrong?
Well, so the size of the sign, they are compliant.
Oh, I thought the second sign wasn't compliant.
It's that it doesn't face Artful, it's not on the correct facade of the side of the building. So it's not on the correct facade, it's on the southern facing facade, not the western facing facade.
I would say there's hardship with the material. If they tried to paint it, they couldn't. That alone is enough for me. No,
But the hardship can't be of the applicant's making.
it's not. It's that they're reaching code with the material.
So in the RAD form-based code, and with planning and zoning, we required them to use these types of materials. So staff recognizes that this is one of those instances when, like she said, where the code contradicts itself because it's trying to live up with the old, the graffiti, the kind of feel and look of the River Arts District, right? But when you use some new materials, then they may not have that same capability. So that's the.
So the hardship was.
Can you state your name again? I'm sorry.
Laura Hudson.
Laura Hudson.
Yeah. So I understand what you're saying. So
So the hardship was designed by the code itself.
exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. And our argument is that, if you're looking at old brick buildings, that works great. But as, the code wants us to explore more inventive materials in this area, and that application just doesn't, some materials just don't accommodate it.
Okay, board, any further discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll motion to approve both.
I'll second.
Okay, board members, when I say your name, please say yea or nay. Chris Van Danish,
Hey.
John Michael, please.
Aye.
Tina White,
Aye.
Michael Luciano,
Aye.
myself, Elliot Smith, aye. Motion therefore passes. Is there any objections? No objections, and we will adjourn the meeting. Any objections?